There's few things that people like to do more than tell you I told you so. Making news for commenting on the news. What better time to start overreacting? If something bad happens, it's what we do best as sports fans. What an egregious mistake was made by every team in the NFL. If you are going to accuse racism, there has to be some substantiation that you have to the point. You're just saying, we're playing preseason football, and what better time to start overreacting to everything? If something good happens, let's overreact to that. If something bad happens, then my God, the sky is falling. It's what we do best as sports fans sometimes, and it's certainly what we see happen in the media. And first among the overreactors, the hot takers, who's on the short list for this? He wrote the book on it, really, I think. Skip Bayless is making news for commenting on the news. It's the reason that he forewent having a family, is because he knew that to give us his very best, it was going to take him coming out with hot takes on topics such as Shedeur Sanders' preseason debut. Shedeur Sanders, my friends, has stolen the preseason talk in the NFL so far this season. His debut game was pretty damn solid. Shedeur Sanders taking on the Carolina Panthers. Well, let's face it, he's not really facing starters, but he's not really playing with starters either. In fairness, he went out a very efficient 14 of 23 for 138 yards and a couple of touchdown passes. And immediately, the Shedeur boosters, as they should, came out in force, telling us what an egregious mistake was made by every team in the NFL, including the Cleveland Browns, who apparently are still at fault merely for allowing Shedeur to slide all the way to the 5th round. Skip Bayless coming in, not just saying, hey, I said Shedeur Sanders was going to be a good player, and he played well. Skip Bayless coming in, as he does, with something much more substantial than that, accusing many in the NFL of looking like quote-unquote racist fools. Let's go to Skip.
Tonight, Shedeur Sanders made the entire National Football League look like a whole bunch of petty fools. In some cases, racist fools. In many cases, Dion despising fools. Tonight at Carolina, Shedeur Sanders made all those teams that had 143 chances to draft him before he went 144th. He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns.
It's a little early to be taking a victory lap of that magnitude, isn't it? Skip, he played, a portion of the first preseason game. And not only are you so confident that everybody in the NFL blew it, you're willing to say that some of them blew it because they're racists. And see, that's where you go too far. If we want to talk about this from a talent evaluation standpoint, we can do that. But again, this is a league where in 2023 and 2024, the top 2 players off the board were black quarterbacks. This year, the top player off the board, Cam Ward, is a black quarterback. 3 years in a row, number 1 overall. 2 out of the last 3 years, number 2. But we've got to point to racism. If you are going to accuse racism, there has to be some substantiation that you have to the point. Elsewhere, you're just saying shit. And saying shit irresponsibly. But again, saying shit irresponsibly is what Skip has made a fortune doing for a lot of years. Look, Shedeur Sanders did look good. Those touchdown passes were very sharp. They were crisp. And I do believe that anybody who wants to come out and say, hey, Shedeur Sanders looked really good is justified in doing so. I don't care if it's the first preseason game, because if he had come out and he had laid an egg, everybody would have been on his ass. We would have seen the memes going everywhere. We would have seen people making fun of him. We would have seen people saying that he shouldn't have been drafted at all, and he would have been absolutely clowned. And the first time that he plays poorly, he's going to get clowned. Whether that is his next time out in the preseason, whether that is his next appearance, whether that is in a regular season game, just be aware that it's coming, because there's few things that people like to do more than tell you, I told you so. And so for the people who have decided that Shedeur Sanders stinks and he's an irresponsible, immature guy, they're going to be looking for any evidence that they can to back that up. So we've got one data point right now to this moment in Shedeur Sanders' young career, and the data point looks good. But it is only that. It is one data point. I would caution the cooler heads among us to wait and see what happens the next time that he's under center. But the early returns for Shedeur Sanders are good. What else is going on in the NFL preseason? Did you ever think in your life that you would see somebody kick a field goal longer than 63 yards? I grew up in a league where Tom Dempsey, he of the half of a right foot that he was swinging around like a 2 would back in the 60s and 70s in the NFL, he was the guy who held the record for so many years when I was growing up. 63-yard field goal, 1970 for the New Orleans Saints. I think it was November the 18th, 1970. Check me on that. I've actually got an autographed helmet of Tom Dempsey and his holder, Joe Scarpati, in my office. Well, the record got broken. We saw 64. We saw it go up. The NFL regular season record is 66 by Justin Tucker, who I guess we're not supposed to talk about anymore because he's on Team Deshaun Watson, doesn't know how to frequent a massage parlor as a civilized adult, allegedly. Well, we have a new unofficial record. Cam Little, Jacksonville Jaguars, 70 yards. It is not going to go in the record books, but we saw it. And we know what's possible. And there you have it. It's yet to happen in an NFL game. There have been a number of attempts from far out distance, but Cam Little just stroking it right there. And maybe in the future, 70 yards is the new 60. I don't know. I never thought that anybody could hit from that distance except for this sweet bastard, if I'm being honest with you. And he's not impressed. Look at the look on his face. He's been making 70-yarders since the 70s. It's going to take a little bit more than this. He's like, oh, sure, yeah, you're going to throw a parade for Cam Little. What about me? So those are the headlines that we have in the preseason. Cam Little with an impressive kick that's unofficially redefined what is possible in an NFL game. And Shedeur Sanders with a pair of touchdown passes that impressed his fans. And speaking of impressive pairs, Coach Bill Belichick is in the news. Oh my God. I feel so wrong about, Tim knows that I feel wrong about this. There he is. Look, I don't
prosthetics.
Know. I don't know. I just don't know. If you didn't know who he was and you saw that picture, how many guesses would you have to get to before you arrived on guy with a 24-year-old girlfriend?
99.
Who's hot? Yeah, you would need a lot. You would need a lot of guesses, more than that, up into quadruple figures, perhaps higher. But God bless Bill Belichick. Tom Brady has been talking about Bill Belichick because one of the things that I'm most excited about for this football season, whether it's NFL or college, is seeing how Bill Belichick translates to the college game down at Chapel Hill. And his former quarterback, the man who led all 6 of Bill Belichick's head coach teams to Super Bowl glory from the quarterback position. Tom Brady was on the Joel Klatt show on YouTube, Big Noon Conversations, and the conversation turned to Bill Belichick in North Carolina.
I think the challenge for him is he's dealing with a lot of probably underdeveloped players because he's dealt with guys that are 4, 5, 6 years further along than what he's normally had to deal with. So I think there's probably a learning curve for him, just in this me hypothesizing. It's not, I don't have much knowledge of it, but I'm sure it's different coaching a 17 or 18-year-old than even a 22 or 23-year-old.
I don't know what a 17 or an 18-year-old thinks about Bill Belichick, but Brady making a good point there. I mean, when you look at the sophistication of Bill Belichick's game plans, of Bill Belichick's playbook, how many of these things is he going to entrust 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids to be able to execute in the way that he coached it in the NFL? So there's certainly an element there. And if you're one of the kids, well, I don't know what you're thinking. Grandpa's dating a girl that, some of these kids may have girlfriends that are older than Jordan Hudson. I don't know if their girlfriend's titties are as big as Bill's. Tim, are you happy now? See what you made me do? Didn't even want to talk about it. Now here I am because I'm 12 years old and I can't handle it in a mature fashion. Here's a Belichick tweet that I sent out before vacation, or during vacation, technically, perhaps. I can't remember now, but this one went around the world a couple of times, ended up with over a million impressions. There they are, reunited. 1993, I am told that was. The New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns getting together. A couple of guys who worked together well with the New York Giants. What you been up to, Belichick? Just waiting for my girlfriend to be born. It wasn't for a while. If you do the math, I think she was born 8 years after that photo was taken. But God bless you, Bill. I'm on Team Belichick here. I think he's going to be successful. I can see where this blows up, but it seems that whatever needed to be done to get his, showbiz mom / young girlfriend to settle down, it seems like it's happened. And I think that Bill Belichick is going to be successful. We will find out. Something tells me that if Bill saw that tweet, he might not like it. He might have even shot me the bird. Bird shooting. There you go. Let's take a look at it right there. Welcome back to Seattle, Geno. No time wasted for at least one Seattle Seahawks fan in giving the former quarterback some shit, and in true Raiders fashion, Geno Smith gives him the double bird. Max Crosby joined in. And Pete Carroll, was he bothered by it? Well, let's listen to what the Las Vegas Raiders' new head coach had to say.
Geno Smith was seen at the Seahawks game making an obscene gesture, like at a fan with a sign.
Did you see what the sign said?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Next question.
Said, yeah, I saw it. They compared the man to Jamarcus Russell. If there's ever a situation in your life when you can give somebody the double bird, it's after somebody has made a direct comparison between you and Jamarcus Russell in reference to playing the quarterback position in the NFL. So I'm all in favor of it. I like that Raiders energy. There's some things, no matter where they play, Oakland, Los Angeles, back to Oakland, Las Vegas, it's good to know that some things never change and that Raiders will be Raiders. And one thing that never changes on this program is the pleasure it is for me to welcome to the program OutKick senior NFL writer. I speak, of course, of our friend, the great Armando Salguero. Armando, just another weekend in paradise in the NFL. What are you taking out of the first week of preseason action?
Well, back to the double bird salute. I think that this is good for humanity. I really do. I think it's a seminal moment in the course of human history, because for too long here, since about, I don't know, 2009 or so, men have been exchanging their thoughts about each other on social media. I like it when it's a face-to-face exchange and one guy is telling the other guy what he thinks and the other guy is reacting, and they're both in the same place. They're both face-to-face. They can look each other in the eye and decide that both of them are morons because they both are. It's ridiculous. A football fan taking it to that extreme, and Geno Smith, God bless him, being so thin-skinned that he had to go there. But all I needed was some beers and some music and some dance, a dance floor. We would have had a barroom situation. It would have been perfect.
So Armando, we've got that nonsense happening in Seattle, and we've got Shedeur Sanders coming out and having a very nice preseason debut. It was that. A couple of those throws that he made, they were impressive. Again, it's the preseason, but I think if he had come out and he had played poorly, we definitely would have heard the critics very loudly for him. How much do you make of one performance? We've got Skip Bayless out here. I was talking about at the top of the program. Skip reading all kinds of things into it. Everybody should be embarrassed. Some people in the league are looking like racist fools, and so on. What is your measured veteran reaction to seeing Shedeur Sanders come out and have an outstanding first appearance?
Right. So, look, I'm not even going to address Skip Bayless. I mean, whatever. He gets to have an opinion. God bless America. Unfortunately, he's part of it. I would say to you that Shedeur Sanders did what was required of him. And he did that despite the fact that he was put in a tough situation. And people don't realize he didn't get a whole lot of repetitions since the start of training camp because he's running fourth team. He's behind Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett and 5'4" Dylan Gabriel, maybe 5'10". But the point is, he is fourth team despite being the guy that everybody thought was going to be drafted much, much higher. Well, guess what? He comes out. The moment was not bigger than him. He was equal to the task. He moved the team. And in one night, it was funny because that game was on Friday night. Anthony Richardson played on Thursday night. And in the span of those 24 hours, I saw the difference between third year Anthony Richardson not knowing how to recognize a blitz at the line of scrimmage, not knowing that he was hot. And I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about he has to, fire the ball to not get destroyed. And he didn't. And he was looking in the wrong place and got destroyed. And ultimately, his pinky finger was facing west while his hand was facing south. It looked terrible. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, he seemed to feel the rush. He got away from it. He seemed to throw on time. He seemed to make decisions quicker. So it was clear to me that he's more ready to play than what Anthony Richardson is. And, oh, by the way, he's not going to play. He's not going to be the starter when the regular season starts. Anthony Richardson might be the starter when the regular season starts. It's the difference between, throwing a guy to the wolves and bringing him along a little bit slower.
You came on early last year, Armando, and you talked about how Anthony Richardson was a roller coaster ride. All of those physical tools, that incredible arm that he's got, and then just seemingly just maybe doesn't have what it takes to play the position at the NFL level. At what point do you cut bait on a guy like that? Because I got to tell you, if there was a place for me to wager $100 that Anthony Richardson is going to be out of football in a couple of years, it's sadly, a wager I probably would make, because the kid just looks like he's overmatched in terms of decision making. Are the Colts really possibly going to give him an opportunity to go out there and fuck up their season?
Yes, absolutely, 100%, because it's the Colts, and they don't understand how to find a quarterback ever since Andrew Luck left. It's been like, what do we do now? And the problem with Anthony Richardson is, he's from Miami. He knows how to play football on the streets, and he has the body, he has the tools, he has the gifts. The problem is he needs experience. And the other problem is that he gets hurt. And now, he's close to being injury prone as far as the descriptors are concerned, because he missed 5 games his rookie year. He missed a bunch of games last year, or the other way around. The bottom line is he hasn't played enough to get experience, and he needs experience. That's a bad combination when you're a guy who needs to play, but you're always hurt. Those two things don't lead to a Hall of Fame career. And so Anthony Richardson is on the bust arc, and I guess you could say it's not his fault, because are really injuries a guy's fault? But definitely the other night was kind of his fault, because he should have at least, here's an idea, Anthony, when the truck is coming, get out of the way and don't get run over.
That is good advice. Can't argue with the wisdom of that. Armando, we've gotten a look at a few other rookie quarterbacks here now. Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Tyler Shuck, Cam Ward. Obviously, there are different levels of expectations for each of those players at the moment. But what are your observations on what you've seen from the other rookies in the limited glimpse that we've gotten of them so far?
Yeah, Jackson Dart did great. The Giants are thrilled with how he did. They're more thrilled with the fact that he did really well, and they don't have to rely on him to be the guy early in the season. He's not going to be the guy unless something crazy happens. It's going to be Russell Wilson. So he starts from a position of they're happy with you, and you've got time to grow from there. That's a perfect situation for Jackson Dart. Quinn Ewers, you mentioned him. He was, big time at Texas, 7th round pick of the Miami Dolphins. He was bad. He played poorly. He's a developmental player that played like a developmental player. He had two fumbles, which is not good. One of them inside the 10-yard line, which is really not good. And he didn't get any support around him. So all of those things conspired to make him look like trash. And it's only one game. It's only one preseason game. The Dolphins are not going to ask him to do anything this year, and it's good that they're not. What's weird is the reporting out of Miami for the last couple of weeks is that Quinn Ewers was lighting up practices. And I'm thinking, where is that? What happened to that? It's the difference between a training camp practice and a preseason game. And oh, by the way, a regular season game is about 5 levels above the preseason game. So when you're put him in the back pocket, you're not going to be reaching for that anytime this year. Tyler Shuck, good and bad. Nice 54-yard pass, terrible interception. They need him to be good because he's their guy, unless Spencer Rattler is their guy. Either way, they're going to be looking for a guy in a couple of years again, because neither one of those, in my opinion, have suggested to anyone at this point that they are the long range guy. So who else is out there that I've forgotten? Cam Ward. He's only the first overall pick. He was fine. He was good. Was he fantastic? No, but he was fine. He's good. He's going to be fine when he starts for the Tennessee Titans this year.
All right, Armando, one more here before you run. The NFL is now recommending, in light of what happened in Manhattan there at the NFL offices, the NFL recommending armed security at team facilities. Now, as a precautionary measure, that apparently is not setting well with everybody in the media. Mike Florio taking the opportunity to talk about gun control and so forth in the wake of this announcement. What do you make of the NFL's recommendation to teams that armed security would be the way to go going forward?
Ricky, there are crazy people on this earth, okay? And that's just a fact. It's going to happen. They are crazy and they are violent and they are going to go to extremes to hurt other people. It's been happening since Cain and Abel, okay? And no amount of activism or political correctness on the part of Mike Florio or anyone else is going to change that. The fact of the matter remains that if someone is so motivated that they're going to go out and do violence with a gun, with a tactical rifle even, to someone, they're going to find a way to do it, whether that gun is legal or illegal. They're going to find a way. And the idea that some people have decided to take those tragedies and turn them into, let's outlaw, what they call semi-automatic rifles, it's just ridiculous. That's not going to be the thing. That's not how it's going to get solved. The same people don't want the Bible in school, and the Bible teaches you not to kill your fellow man. Those people don't want the Bible in school, but want to take guns out of your hands. Oh, by the way, I've also read the Constitution. I think the Second Amendment is a thing. Mike Florio, a lawyer, apparently wants to rewrite the Second Amendment.
Yes, it's being confirmed to me right now. The Second Amendment is indeed still a thing, Armando, yes. For sure. A pleasure as always, my friend. We appreciate the wisdom, and we look forward to having you on again.
All right, Rick. Be well.
All right, he is the great Armando Salguero. Things were easier in the 80s, weren't they? Let's look at that. That was every problem solved right there. I didn't have a single problem in my life in 1989 that couldn't be solved by putting in Tecmo Bowl and going to work. 1989 just called and said, you're about to have the time of your goddamn life. And we did. Didn't we? Hut, 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 hut. Remember that?
Sure.
Is what it was.
I'm going to go to every road game, no matter what, like whether I'm playing or not. It's hard because obviously I do feel this like responsibility of like being out there and playing, and like, not that I like think there's like a fear of any of this ever going away. Like that doesn't happen when like LeBron or Steph get hurt. Like they're always going to be there. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but like you do want to play, like you want to give people something to cheer about or scream about.
I think it's safe to say that year two of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA hasn't really gone the way that she or the league would have scripted it. It's been a rough go for Caitlin Clark this year. She's talking about the responsibility that she feels to the league as the face of the league there, as she was having that conversation with Sue Bird. And that's one of the reasons that we like Caitlin Clark. Those of us who have been taken with her, it's not just the players that you really that you care about. I don't look up to athletes at this age, the same ones maybe that I looked up to when I was 8, 10, 12 years old. I'm not looking up to young athletes, but when you see a young athlete who gets it, it always does my heart good because there are kids out there who are looking up to them. I think Caitlin Clark has been a great role model, not just for little girls, but for anybody who cares about sports, because not only has she played so well, but she has conducted herself with class, and she exhibits an awareness that the best players tend to have of how their role is bigger than themselves. Josh Allen is another one for you in Buffalo. When you see the way that Josh Allen interacts with the fans in Buffalo, and we've seen him taking time with special needs fans on multiple occasions. We've seen him going over and giving extra moments of his time to children that were really excited to see him. We've seen him take off his cap as he's greeting members of our military. When you see somebody like a Josh Allen, you see somebody like a Caitlin Clark, these are the kinds of people that you want to be the face of your franchise, not just from an on-the-field ability standpoint either. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA is lucky to have her as the face of the league. Now, with that being said, Caitlin Clark has only played in 13 of the Indiana Fever's 32 games this year. She has missed almost 20 games to this point in the season with the injuries that she's had. It's a groin injury at the moment that she's out with. But, hearing her talk about the importance of going out, signing autographs, she said, she signs more autographs when she's not playing than when she does play, because she understands that there is an attraction level. She is at a place in her fame right now where people will be happy just to see her, to go out to the arena and see her. No, not as happy as they would have been to see her play, but she is at that level where kids just want to say that they've seen her. I saw her. There she is in the flesh. And so she gets that. And I will say, if we want to look for some good news in the WNBA, despite the fact that Caitlin Clark has missed close to 2/3 of her team's games this year, and despite the fact that Caitlin hasn't played up to the level that I believe that she's capable of, that I believe is coming from her, the league overall is still doing pretty well. Viewership is up 21% on the game telecast ratings, and attendance, in-arena attendance, is up about 15% as well. And Tim, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Golden State Valkyries are the only team that is outdrawing the Indiana Fever. They're averaging over 18,000 fans a night, Tim. So, when people bag on the WNBA and I understand it. I do it sometimes. This is a league that has never turned a profit. And when you hear the players seeming that they feel entitled to certain things, and you look at it from a business point of view and you think, well, maybe this attitude isn't washing real well for me. And in fact, some of the things that we've seen, the petty jealousies and the way that players in the league have treated Caitlin Clark, it rubs you the wrong way. But in spite of those valid things that we can critique, they have retained 20%. They've retained the viewership increase that she spiked last year. They've added 20% to it, even with her being out of action for much of the season. And attendance around the league is up 15%. I think there are some indications here that the WNBA is maybe not quite as reliant on Caitlin Clark as maybe we have thought all along.
Yeah.
Although having said that, sooner she's back, the happier everybody will be.
Yeah. Boy, Ricky, you can, by the way, Golden State, the only game in Sun at Valkyries tonight, the only game on the slate for WNBA. It helps that they play in the same arena that Steph does. So they're playing in that same new arena in San Francisco. So there's obviously a huge appetite. But man, I want to go back to that Caitlin stuff. If you, Sue Bird, who again, I think often is a target I thought she did a really good job with that interview. It was about an hour and 20 minutes long. I probably am about 80% of the way through it. What stood out to me is Caitlin is wearing the stress, man. She's wearing it. She's got the bags under her eyes, her body language, she's downtrodden. You can just tell. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but watching that, hearing her voice, hearing the frustration, she addressed it, as an athlete, of course I want to be out there. But can you imagine, she said it, like, Steph can be hurt, LeBron can be hurt. No one's questioning the future of the league. I'm hurt and people are questioning the future of the league. Like, holy cow, man, that is a ton of pressure for someone who's built, as you said, her image on just being the it thing to so many people, and to not be able to deliver. I do feel for her. Look, she's talked smack when she's out there. I feel like she talked a little more shit this year than last year in the 9 games that she played, firing up the crowd and everything else. So it's good and bad, but man, I feel for her. I hope she doesn't crack from all the inordinate pressure that's on it.
Yeah, this has not been the year that anybody wanted. And she'd been so durable, Tim. She had never missed a game, college or pro, coming into this season. And it's like she just can't catch a break this season. I don't want to say that it's a lost season for her, but they've only got an additional 12 regular season games. This is a 44-game regular season, Tim. So, I mean, I don't know how many more games she is expected to miss at this point, but, they need to get her back out there soon, because they don't have a lot of time left to, be in a cohesive state before the playoffs begin.
And imagine if they didn't have Sophie Cunningham and some other players, and Aaliyah Boston, who really have picked up the slack.
Kelsey Mitchell has been great as well.
Kelsey Mitchell dropping 26 the other night. Yeah, Lexi Hull. So the team is playing pretty well without her. Obviously they miss her, but yeah, no, the whole first half, man, I'm with you. It's they need to salvage it. They need to salvage it quickly, and that is a nagging injury. It's a nagging injury that's just does not seem to be healing for her.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com, where you can watch the full episode.